Adamme. I sent a request. This one. What if I do it under? We're having a little bit of, you know, technical difficulties. You know, it's all good. It's all good. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Waiting. Adamme is here. She is here. We're going to get connected in a little bit. I can feel it. I can feel it. What's tea? Adamme, where are you? She is in the building. She sure is in the building. I'm waiting for her to connect to the tea. Unable. Why is it unable to join?
On if we were gonna glam or not, but you sure in the heck did, honey. I love it.
Me, we are connected. Are we there? Are we live?
We're finally here.
Live?
We made it.
Are we live?
Yay!
Oh my God! Everybody, settle down.
Let me put the volume up. Where is my volume? Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. I can hear you now. You look fabulous.
Look at this. I'm inspired by you. This is my interpretation of you. Not of you. Of how I would do it.
I love it. I love, yes. You got the feathers. The feathers. You know we've got to always have some beauty warrior feathers, baby.
Yes, I couldn't find any. I went downtown today to look for something fierce, and
I freaking am in love. You've got the black spikes, the double textured black, huge, huge, huge for me. Spikes, I love, love, love the spikes. You've got the super fabulous head jewelry, head jewelry, so big when I do that. And then I love that smoky eye, honey. You know I love a good smoky eye.
that's a complete look, honey.
I freaking love it. I feel horrible. I just got a little brow going on right now. But listen, you're beat for both of us, honey. You're beat for both of us.
It's an honor of you.
Oh, thank you. Or you're reminding me of you would be like the contemporary modern, like when I used to be at Mac back in the day.
Yeah.
That would definitely be something I would rock back in the day, which is kind of ahead of its time. I think it was kind of ahead of its time.
Kind of coming right back again, girl.
I love it. What color are you wearing on your eyes?
Literally just black gel liner, packed it on, black eyeshadow, and that's it.
I freaking love it.
Silver glitter gel liner, just right here, and just skin.
I love it. Your contour, your skin, everything is fabulous. And I'm living for the feather hair jewelry.
They can't tell me anything, Adamme. They can't tell me anything today, honey.
Exactly.
They can't tell me anything. They can't, honey.
Oh my God, let's say hi to the people. Hi, Jay Vanity.
Hi,
hello.
everybody.
Makeup artist, Tammy Guy, Virginia, Alyssa, Turner, Michael, Angel. Shabambu is here.
That's Shabambu, honey.
Frankie, dancer Frankie's here. Oh my gosh, how you guys?
559 in the house, honey.
Woo! I love it.
Oh my God, Adamme, so thank you so much for being on my show.
Of course, of course.
A quick little summary. This is just during these crazy times right now. I thought that it'd be nice to have positive, fun, interaction with people. We can just kind of get away from everything, for a little bit,
Absolutely, absolutely. You've inspired me to revisit, because in the beginning of the pandemic, I was really shook. It really hit me hard. And I found a little bit of my voice by doing similar something like this. I was interviewing friends of the industry and chatting with them, and then things came to a stop just because people were dying. You know, people that family members, people are, and then I thought to myself, I got busy starting a business during this whole thing and trying to make lemonade out of the lemons that were given to
Yeah,
us.
we'll get into that too. I can't wait to touch base on that too.
Yeah, but so you've inspired me to get back on, and so you might just have to be on my interview show next.
I mean, tell me when. I have other looks I can do. I can pull out some old school looks of yours, honey. I got
Yes.
plenty.
Okay, so I'm gonna try my best not to be the interviewer because I'm
No,
used to interviewing,
it's okay.
and I want you to like do your thing. I didn't even. I wanted to watch you and Eamon's interview, but then I thought, no, I don't even want to know how
Yeah.
theirs went because I just want like a fresh, like I just want it to be organic. You know what I mean?
So this is like a really like having you on is like such a like a huge thing for me that I was thinking about too. I was thinking about how I do with Eamon, and like literally last night I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it a totally different way, and I had like just a whole other revision of it, you know?
Oh, cool. Yeah, so
And
I have no idea. Yeah,
cool.
I just want to have a good time. You're my friend. I love you,
I love
and
you.
I'm here for you. So we're just here. I'm here for you.
It's just talk. Okay, so the first thing I thought about was like, okay, what are you known for? You're known for beauty. So I was like, hey, well, what's beauty? So first thing I thought was foundation is always the first thing, right? So with you, I want to know your foundation, okay? So where were you born? How about that?
Okay, I was born in Fresno, California,
Okay.
and yeah, I was born in Fresno, California.
How many siblings? Are you the oldest? Are you in the middle? Or
I'm technically the middle child, but I am a twin. I have a twin brother, a fraternal twin brother.
I remember you having. Oh my gosh, that yeah. So where is your family originally from?
So my heritage
Yeah.
is Mexican and American Indian, and
Okay.
so we're third generation, and we were raised super Americanized Chicano, which many Mexicans, especially in the Central California Valley, from my generation are. However,
Me
we
too.
yeah, we were raised on like Motown music. Yeah, there was some mariachi and there were some Mexican influences, but the Spanish was really lost in our family because
Generation.
generational. Yeah, it was a generational thing, and I think that like our parents, if they had a Mexican accent, they had less opportunities, and so they wanted to kind of lose the Spanish so that they could sound more Americanized and
I was
basically blend in, you
I was
know.
I was raised
But
exactly.
the word mijo was always instilled, so we always said mijo, mija. I'm, you know, gracias a Dios. I remember saying gracias a Dios after we ate dinner all the time, and we were like, "What does that mean?" But we just say it because it was like you just said it, which means like thank God.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I ended up learning Spanish like almost like at 30 years old. So ahora yo hablo español mi vida como un cubano, pero no importa.
Uh,
Yes, I
how
had to learn.
how were you as a kid?
As a kid, I was extremely shy and can sometimes be shy and introverted.
Yeah.
My twin brother is super what you would call like your like normal guy who like GI Joes and like did all the guy things, and like I obviously am effeminate and artistic and soft and fabulous, and so you know, I wasn't chosen to be played with by the other kids and stuff like that. So I was a bit of a lone ranger. And so as a kid, I had a lot of insecurities and I was very almost mute, believe it or not. With as big of a mouth as I have today, I was literally just, which is why me and my mom have such a bond now. I would just hang onto my mom's hip and I would just be like, okay, this is where I fit. I fit like as long as I'm by her side, I feel like safe and no one can like, you know, all the bully names that are out there for boys like that are not boyish, you know,
Yeah.
faggot and queer and queen. Now we're like, yes, honey, no.
Yeah. Now we take it with pride. So funny, huh?
Yeah, but it was a really tough ride as a child because like many of us, wherever you're from, if you're different, you get the bullying and you get the whole like you don't fit in, you're the last to be chosen on the on the playground for groups. So it was a pretty tough time, but it was art that saved me, which we'll get into later. But yeah, that's really what made the big difference.
So what was your first when was your first infatuation with beauty? Like, what was your first imageries as a kid? Was it on television? Was it through culture, or was it where did you first see like beauty? And you're like, okay, wait a minute, this is my lane.
Okay, so that's such a great question. Oh, I love that. So again, it was I know this is gonna sound cheesy. It was my mom,
That's
because my
okay.
mom, oh, yours too.
Of course.
Yes,
My
yes.
inspiration for everything beauty.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Yeah, my mom was pretty bold, and divorced my dad, who was like he was an alcoholic and he was abusive and he was not very he was a super machismo chicano man,
Yeah.
Mexicano man, and everything else. So when he started getting to a point where he wasn't very supportive, my mom had the balls, the guts. And at that time in the 1970s, women didn't have the resources they have today.
At
So
all.
the fact that she had the guts to leave
So
during a
brave.
time where most women would just put up with his shit, put up with his crap, because they didn't have the job skills, they didn't have the money to support the kids. They would just say, dang, this is all I have to, he has the money, he's taking care of us. So I really, really love that about her. But my mom divorced my dad, and so I was around my mom a lot. She's a beautician from the 1960s. And so I
Wow.
grew up with my mom having every hairstyle there was. We didn't have a lot of money. We were come from very, humble beginnings. We were on welfare and had food stamps and everything else. But you wouldn't know it, because when the beehive was in, she wore the beehive. When the flip was in, she wore the flip. She didn't do false eyelashes ever, but her makeup and her nail, till this day, my mom is 76 years old. She just painted her nails last night. And she has, my poor mommy, she has tremors, so her hands, it takes it takes triple the amount of time for my mom to put her face on today.
Uh-huh.
The same amount it takes her triple the amount of time to paint her nails. But when I tell you that the lady is beat, she was like, if it takes me 20 minutes to do this brow, honey, it's gonna take me 20 minutes to do this brow.
Uh, Me, I love it.
And so yeah, so mom, growing up, I just admired her. She always smelled pretty. She always was clean. She was polished. And she taught us as kids, one thing she always said, check your ears, check your eyes, check your nose, walk with your head held high, chest up. Like, she was kind of old school. She would try to teach us to like carry ourselves well. We were little mocosos though. I mean, we acted stupid and crazy and everything else. But yeah, Mama was a huge influence, huge, huge influence. She was the first. And then Janet, honey, when I saw Janet Jackson,
She took,
what?
she took you to see Janet?
What?
She took you to go see Janet?
No, are you kidding? We couldn't afford a concert. I saw her on the TV.
She took you to see Janet on the TV.
On the TV, I saw Janet. When I saw Janet, Boy George, Janet, Prince, Michael Jackson, all men who wore makeup. I like David Bowie in the movie Labyrinth. Oh, I remember. I don't know if you remember the movie Labyrinth,
Of course.
but there was you, of course, right?
Of course, yes.
And David Bowie has that cool, like, spiky mullet.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm magic. And he's like walking around and he's doing this really sexy thing. And
With
you're
the
just kind of like,
sexy
I didn't understand what it was, but it was very homeocentric. It was very like glam androgyny. And that's what I really love, is androgyny. So yeah,
that's
all of those characters.
that's in your lane, huh? The androgyny of mixing, of always adding a little bit of feminine into your persona, your persona.
Being androgyny, and this is something that I've seen in you too, and that we've embraced. For so long, we were hated and told that we were less than and not accepted because we were men, but we were feminine. So there was like this girly thing about us, but we were these guys. And when you marriage the two together and you get this masculine and feminine energy that come together, to me, once I understood that there's beauty in it, I was like, wow, how powerful is that? How powerful is it to be both okay with being masculine and okay with being feminine, and then marrying them together, because I can't stop it. Like, it's who I am. You know what I mean? Like, there's that thing where, what do they call it? Accepting yourself. So
So seeing your mother and seeing like pop rock stars and stuff like that was your first infatuation.
inspirations. Those were definitely my mom and all the hairstyles. My mom and my aunts, all of that. My grandpa put my mom and all of her sisters through beauty college in the 1950s and 60s, and he said, "Never rely on a man. If a man ever leaves you, I want you girls to have a vocational trade so you could provide for yourself."
Yeah.
So he put them all through beauty college as a way at the time, because he couldn't afford for a UC university, you know, so he thought find a trade. And so they all became beauticians, and they were raised on the west side. So
Okay.
they had a hair salon on the west side called Sisters. And yes, can you imagine? Hey, sisters.
Oh my god, so funny.
But yeah, so all of them, they all had very stylish hairstyles. And again, we may not have had a lot of money, but we always made sure that mom always said, but you look clean. And even if you got, you know, you don't have the best threads, you make them look sharp. Oh my gosh, I don't want to ignore people who are saying hi. Let's say hi really quick.
Ahead,
Hi,
yeah.
Glam by Danny. Shout out to you. Can we bring in the beehive back? Yes, I love that. Who is there? Brian Mendez, hello. Eloy's here. Hi, Frankie. Good to see you. JC from Los Angeles, hello. Amen. I love that. Amen. So yeah, I don't mean to babble, but I just wanted to say hi.
No, of course, no, of course. Let's just do whatever. So going into your, let's say like your junior high school era, I hear that someone was on the color guard team. I heard you out there throwing flags with the fags, honey. Is that true?
Ooh, Louis, you are good at this. How you finding dirt? I'm gonna call Oprah. I thought I was Oprah. You are
No,
doing
honey.
good.
I got my research, honey. I got some questions.
Ooh, Louis, you are good. Okay, so yes, I was on the color guard team. I hope Anna is here. Anna would love this portion of the interview. Hold on, I'm gonna tag her real quick because she's gonna freak out. She's like one of my best friends, and she's gonna love this. She's like amazing. Hold on, I'm tagging her really quick. Who's shouting at? Hi, Karina. Hi, Black Roses. Oh, Jared. Jared's a producer and director in Los Angeles. Hi, Jared.
Hi, Jared. I'm Louis. I'm ready to work, honey. Let's produce something.
Yeah. Yes. You better go ahead and plug it. I love you.
Tell you, honey. Like I
Okay, hold on. How do I share this? What do? I go to the video, and then I do the envelope, and then I'm gonna type in Anna. Okay, color guard talk now. Color guard. All right, here we go. So yes, in middle school, I'll fast forward. So elementary, totally bullied, totally introverted, found choir. Choir led me to middle school. Middle school, again, that was where I found show choir, kind of like Glee. And then I went to Roosevelt High School, the performing arts. And that's where I was singing and dancing. And that's how I found all my artistry. And wow, oh my gosh, it was like I was finally in the midst of like, I was so blessed because I was from the hood, in which I would have went to Roosevelt anyway, but you had to audition to get into the program of the arts program. So I still had to audition, but yeah, Roosevelt's in the hood over by my area where I was raised in the east side Fresno in the hood, honey.
I'm not from that area, but I would go over there to just go see the boys, honey.
I love it.
A wild little team.
I love it. Oh my God. Anna was your color guard instructor, right? Oh, they're flirting up in here. They're like, damn, who's he? Dance. Really, boys? Really? We're interviewing over here?
That's how girls connect, honey. It's a lonely world out there, honey. They connect, honey. It's a love connection.
We're over here doing the inspirational talk and they're all playing hookup? Okay.
Let them.
I'm living for it. Go ahead, pandemic. We're lonely. We're lonely. So I'm in color guard. So I'm at Roosevelt, and that's where I was introduced to all the performing arts. And color guard was one of the things. And her name is Anna Hernandez. And believe it or not, I was ditching class. So I was being a bad boy because I finally found, I found my tribe of artistry at Roosevelt, really, throughout the years of performing arts. And so I would ditch my academic classes, Louis. I know this is bad.
I know, kids. Stay in school if you're listening.
Stay in school, kids. Stay in school. But I would double take all the arts classes. So my teachers saw that I was a kid who really needed just like, this guy's not doing drugs or anything. He's just trying to take another ballet class or another tap class. So the campus police were gonna, you know, they would roam the campus, and they'd be like, "Hey, kid, what are you doing out of class?" And I'd be like, so I ran into the cafeteria where the color guard was, and they were rehearsing or practicing, and that's how I joined. And I just pretended like I was
Yeah.
tossing a flag. Honey, the talent is real. I jumped in and I was like, I looked so damn real. I was flipping that.
Yeah. Like it was a follow hop from the back. Like it was the broom that you've been doing it for years, huh?
So the instructor, Anna, saw me and she was like, oh my God, who's that kid who came in here? And she goes, ay, mira que cabrón. This kid is trying to come in my class and hide from the campus police. Make a long story short, she goes, all right, I didn't tell on you. So now because I didn't tell on you, you have to really take my class. And I was like, what? She was like, I need more boys in my color guard. And so from there on, I fell in love with it. And I went on to compete in world champion color guard later on. And we took first place in the world, and me.
Honey, already one of the things you already started excelling in already.
And so that was how it was for me, Luis. Always like, gracias a Dios. I always say thank God, because like I would join anything that had to do with artistic, something artsy. I can't draw to save my life. I can't paint to save my life, but I can sing. I can dance a little bit. I always say just a little, just enough.
We're gonna get into that.
Okay, all right. So it was all right. So go ahead.
No, so because me as a kid, I remember was it my cousin Matthew Guevara. Do you know Matthew Guevara?
Of course I know Matthew.
So Matthew Guevara, I remember us as kids.
He's your cousin?
My first cousin.
What?
Our moms are sisters.
His mom is fierce.
Nini, honey, you don't mess with Rosemary.
I'm all sheetrock, the look you're wearing right now.
Been doing this look, honey. This is her classic, Nini. So I remember that as a kid, though. My cousin Matthew was the first one to really tell me like that I was talented. Because I remember he was like, we'd make up dances, and he'd be like, make up a dance, and he was like, not everybody could do that. And I remember that was like the first time someone said, you're talented. You know what I mean? So when for you, when did you know like, hey, I'm a little different, and I can dance, I can sing, I can, you know. When did you?
I've always had a little bit of self-doubt, which has probably helped keep me humble, but it was probably when, because I was never formally trained, Louis, like you said, you were just I was what you called a natural, or a very fast pickup, a fast learner. There's Killer Monster. Hi, Amen.
I love Amen.
Hey, Paul. So I think it was probably when I would like learn a step, and everybody around me would always be like, how do you learn that so quick? You know, it would take me, Louis, I swear to you, someone could show me something. Now I'm older. Come on, don't say older. You know, I'm not in practice. I haven't been in the theater. I haven't been on stage. I haven't done, so I would never, but one time, you would show me something one time, and I could like probably get the whole thing. Or, okay, so 2 times. Okay, let's say 2 times. 2 times. You show me 2 times. And I would be able to dance the move back, or I would try to mimic it or something like that. So I would say in high school, it was about the high school time, 14, 13 years old.
So during high school, did you start doing drag? And did you start getting into like cross-dressing and stuff like that?
So drag was my lifesaver too. That was another lifesaver. That was another chapter for me.
I'm trying to do this. How we're doing this now, we're going to go on a floor. I want to go through your life. So we're going to go into your, after high school, I'm assuming that's when you started doing drag. And
it was right after high school, actually. It was actually during probably my junior year. It was during my junior year in high school. And we had the Tower District. In Tower District, if you guys are from the Central San Joaquin Valley, if you're from Fresno, Tower District was our Hayton Ashbury. It was our West Hollywood. It was the area in which it was gay liberal, and there were like, it wasn't gay though. It was everybody, but gays were accepted. And so in the 90s, we would go hang out at all the cafes, and there were little cafes in Tower District. And so I'm about 17 years old. We're hanging out at the cafes, pretending to be older than we actually are, because we think we're all badass. And there was a dance studio right next to the cafe called Diana's Dance Studio.
Okay.
And that dance studio was where Bobby Salazar's is living now, if you know where Bobby
Yeah,
Salazar's
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
So Bobby Salazar's used to be Diana's dance studio. Hi, Teresa. I love you, Terry. You know, it's an artist community. That's the way. Thank you, Teresa. It's an artist community. It was for all walks of life, and all walks of life were welcomed. And so we would hang out there, and there was like the gothics, and there were like the alternatives, and there was like
The
back
race.
then there was a big movement called grunge. I don't even know if you know what grunge is, but grunge. Okay, you know grunge. I forget. I always think of you as a
Well,
baby,
can
you
you
know?
17?
I know. I always think of you as such a baby. I
Yeah,
don't know why. I guess because to me, you were so much younger. But
yeah.
I mean, you are young, right? How? I mean, I'm 42, so
I'm,
I'm proud to say. Hmm?
I'm 36.
So if I was, yeah, if I was 18, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, yeah, 6 years difference. So when I was 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, you were like 13 years old.
Well,
Were you?
I started going out when I was about 15, 16 to Express and to the bars. I would go all dolled up with the fake ID, and they wouldn't tell me anything.
Louis, so you were a baby out there.
I'm a baby.
Ah!
I feel like a baby sometimes.
And I was a baby. We would sneak in through drag. So Diana's dance studio was next door. So I would sneak my little butt over to Diana's dance studio. But Louis hung out with older crowds, so he's our age. Frankie is in there. I love it, Frankie. He's putting it
Okay.
on blast. Thank you, Frankie. I love
Those
my
parties
dancer,
are
Frankie.
young, though, honey. That's all I gotta say.
I love it. Hi, David Hernandez. Oh my gosh, David Hernandez is a Los Angeles
Oh my God, I love
based.
David.
Oh, you know David?
I love David. Yeah, he used to work for Makeup Forever, right?
For many years, many,
Yeah,
many years.
yeah, yeah.
Educator now
Like,
for Friends,
yeah,
beauty.
he's good. He's
We
fierce
love
out.
you, David. So I would walk over to Diana's studio, Lewis, and I would see the ballroom dancers in there. And it was amazing because, like on Dancing with the Stars, they're so glamorous in their gowns, and the men look so nice. And so after the ballroom dance studio would close about 9:30, 10 p.m., they would reopen an hour later, and there was a drag show, an underground drag show that would happen in there. And
Are
I was
you?
like, where did all the fancy people go? How come there's all these big, broad women here? And I was this teenager, so then I would look inside there. Hi, Dee Dee, welcome. So then I would look inside the window again, and I saw that they were having these drag shows. And to be honest, they weren't big, broad women. They looked like, the first time I ever saw it was a drag queen. I thought it was amazing because
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it was a man. And I learned from Mexican drag queens. Now I don't know if y'all know anything about the Mexican drag queens from Mexico, but they do female impersonation. They
Yeah.
don't just do drag.
Yeah.
Drag comes in many different forms, but
Yeah.
they specifically, the drag queens that I first was introduced to,
Was an illusion.
they were female impersonators.
Yeah.
So if she was performing Thalia, she
She.
did everything to look exactly like Thalia. If she was performing like Alejandra Guzman, she tried it. I mean, from the
Yeah.
costume to the, and so I was like, wow, that was so intriguing. And they noticed this little gay boy every weekend would go and look at them. So the drag queens found me afterwards, and I would like try to like, because I couldn't go in. It was a very, very like underground kind of a moment.
Yeah.
But I would talk to them when they would get out of the back of the theater, which was the ballroom studio.
Yeah.
And they would be like, hey girl, what you girl? And I was like, did they call me a girl? I come from a very religious Christian kind of family. So I had a double life. I was like at home, I was like Adam, and like I was like quiet and well mannered and didn't speak a lot. I didn't speak very much because I didn't want too many of my secrets out. So I was very,
Okay.
very quiet. But then by night, I would be like sneaking in and looking at what was going on out there. Long story short, honey, they got a hold of me. They put me in some makeup, and they got me to do drag. And that finally I started doing drag shows at Diana's dance studio. And like you, I was underage, and I couldn't believe the amount of confidence it boosted in me when I saw people finally tell me, wow, you look beautiful. Like, I was like, what? They're like, you are so gorgeous. And when you're told in your childhood all those bully things that we talked about earlier, they degrade you, they make you feel like you're less than, to finally be like told that you are fierce and fabulous because of the way you look, And I had my hair. I still have hair, thank God.
Yeah,
I
Jamal.
had my own. I didn't wear wigs, and back then it was like, you have your own hair. It was like such a big deal that I had hair, you know. And I was like, I was wearing my hair long because I'm Native American Indian, and I love that whole Indian vibe. But I was like, let me make this work for my advantage, you know.
So, who gave you the name Claudia?
So that was when they told me. I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm gonna perform. And they were like, all right, girl. And they were like, so what's your name? And I was like, Adam. And they were like, girl, tú necesitas una nombre. And they were Mexican, right? And I was like, well, RuPaul was the only drag queen, and I'm American, right? So I was like, RuPaul, you better work. Cover girl, work it, girl. Do your thing on the rock. And then remember when RuPaul goes down the list of all the names in
Of
the
course,
song?
of all the models.
Claudia, Naomi. And he does all the supermodel names.
Yeah.
So I said, Claudia. And they were like, Claudia, see, Claudia. I was like, no, not like that, fool. Don't say it like that.
That is hilarious.
So I got Claudia was the name from RuPaul's song Supermodel, but it was supposed to be from like Claudia,
Yeah,
what's her name?
Schiffer.
Claudia Schiffer, yeah. But all the Mexicans started calling me Claudia, and I was like, oh,
Claudia.
hell, this ain't no Claudia. Oh my God, Gilbert's here. Hey, girl, hey, Gilbert.
Is
Oh my
this
God, what are they saying? I'm here for this story. Oh, thank you. David's laughing. Teresa says, I remember Claudia. She was fierce. Teresa, you remember Claudia? Hilarious. Those were some of the best shows. How did you come up with the name Claudia? That's such a good, that's the story. I came up from with Hi Gilbert. Oh my God, I never knew the origin of the name. The name comes from the song Supermodel by RuPaul,
I would
and he listed
never,
out Claudia.
I have my sister, my real sister, her name is Claudia. So I would.
Really?
Yes. Of a younger
Oh
brother.
my, I love that name. But it was supposed to be said. This is the way I thought about when they would introduce me. And now coming to the stage, Claudia. I thought it would be
Yes.
like Paul said it, but they would be like, and now coming to the stage, Claudia. And I was like, no.
So I'm assuming this is about the time you started working for Mac.
So then, yeah. So I actually, I was working at Star Shots in the mall. And so thank you, Bonita. Shout out to Bonita. You were the one who got me my first job. I was 16 years old. And
Star,
my first,
is that the
huh?
like you would do the glamour photos with
The
the
glamour photos in the mall, honey, with the feather boa.
Yes.
So that was my very first job is I learned how to do makeup in a photo studio in the mall. And
Okay.
my friend hooked me up with getting a job there. And it was the best thing ever. And I fell in love with beauty and makeup and photography and wardrobe and hairstyling. And I did this at 16, 17, 16 and a half, 17 years old. And so then I got scouted and I worked at Sears and I was working in Sears Cosmetics.
Like in the
And
man.
then Mac was a huge deal and I wanted to work at Mac, but I just didn't think I would ever be able to get there. And so I went to Chanel, and Chanel actually had a position open. And I tell this story vaguely. I never use the name, but I'm going to say it right now. Louis looks sickening. Yes, he does, honey. That look is fabulous. I love his look. Amen. It's so good. I will never forget seeing Claudia performing at a Destiny Child song. Yes, I love Destiny Childs. Yes, Claudia Tras, Frankie, you're so funny. I always love your history. Oh, thank you so much. Miss Claudia Klein so much. Oh, Gilbert, you remember the last name? Okay, I got to tell you the last name. I never knew the origin. So Claudia Klein, Calvin Klein was big at the time. You guys remember CK? Calvin Klein was a big brand at the time. And so I thought but you had to have a last name. So I was like, oh, Claudia, okay, Klein. So I wasn't CK1 or was it CK2? I was CK4. I said, my name is CK4. I'm up, down, side to side, and then some more. Ooh. So yeah, so oh my God, I'm sorry. I went off track. What was the last thing?
You were working at Chanel before Mac.
Chanel. So I went to Chanel. I thought I was ready. I had already been doing makeup for almost 3 years. I brought my portfolio from Star Shots and Sears. And she said to me, you do realize we're a professional company, don't you? And I said, yes. She said, and she got my portfolio. Back then you had portfolios, by the way, everybody. It was a real deal. I had to have like pictures. Now you can just tell people to look at your Instagram. But she took my portfolio and she was like, come back when you're a professional. And I was like, oh. And so, hello, UC Makeup School Studio. And so, I was devastated. And I told my mentor, whose name is Teresa Norman, she's Black and Mexican, and you don't mess with her. And she says, no one ever treats you like that, mijo. No one treats you like I said, but she was from Chanel, and I was so excited. So she said, you're going to put a suit and a tie on tomorrow, and I'm going to be in a business suit, and we're going to go and speak to them. And I was like, I'm embarrassed, Teresa, please. It's really not that serious. Please don't do this. This is so embarrassing. She was like, watch what we're going to do. And so she walked me, we went down to Macy's at Chanel, and she goes, I'd like to speak to your manager, please. And she was like, okay. And she was like, we're here from the Better Business Bureau, and we just want to know why you would reject someone after they had given you. And she did this whole thing and spoke so eloquently. And then the guy over at Christian Dior, you know, cosmetics. I don't know if you know, but everybody be talking.
Of course.
So within 10 minutes, they were like, the whole cosmetic floor was like, ooh, they say the Better Business Bureau's over there at the Chanel counter. And Frank was the guy who worked at Christian Dior. So he came over to us and he said, hey kid, come over here really quick. And I walked over to him and he was like, before there's any drama or anything, we just want to know, we want a job offer you. Will you work for us on Saturday? Come in, you know, just wear a little bit of bronzer, because back then I was still wearing eyeliner too. So he's like, don't wear any liner. He's like, I like your tie. He was like, I'm gonna give you a shot. And I was like, and I looked at Teresa, and Teresa was like, told you. Oh. so I so I started working at Christian Dior Cosmetics, and then from Christian Dior Cosmetics, I was scouted to Makeup Forever Professional Paris. I was their resident artist. Under Valerie, shout out David Hernandez if you're still here. Hi, Anna. If you're still here, David. Valerie from San Francisco scouted me. And then from Makeup Forever, I went to MAC Cosmetics. And that was the best thing. It was a 3-month trial because the manager was pregnant. And they said, do you want to leave your full-time position at Makeup Forever? Where I was making like $18 an hour, which is really good money even today. But like in 1990, whatever, 98, 99, I don't know what it was.
That was a good.
It was a good chunk of change for a kid like me, you know, 19, 20-year-old something or other. And so I was like, yes, I had to be at MAC. And then while I was at MAC for 3 months, I'll never forget, this is right when Estee Lauder purchased them. So there was still a little bit of like money being floated around. They were like, we're going to fly you to San Francisco for your basic training. And me and Debbie, her name's Debbie. Shout out to you, Debbie. They flew me and Debbie to San Francisco for our basic training. And she goes, wouldn't it be something if they picked us up, or if they took us in a limousine? And I was like, girl, that's never going to happen. So when we landed, there was no limousine. They took us in a taxi and we went to the hotel, whatever. And I was like, see, I told you, get this shit. After basic training, why did they go, oh, we can't get a taxi, but the only thing available is a stretch limousine. So they took us in a stretch limousine to the airport. They don't do that no more from AdMac. I'm sure they don't do that no more. But I was like, and so I was like, Debbie, what'd you do? This is crazy. Anyway, so yeah, that's how I ended up at MAC. And then I was with MAC for like 10, 12 years.
Okay, so during your time with MAC, I'm gonna say that this is about the time when I first met you. So how I met you, I've seen you before I think we ever met. So my first memory of you, I'll never forget. I always tell everybody this story. Okay, it was Fresno Fairgrounds used to throw a rave every few weeks, right? And it was a big rave one night at the fairgrounds, and everybody's standing in line, right? And it was like during the winter, all the girls out there and all of us little club kids are out there freezing our stacks and whatever.
Wait a minute! Don't say in stacks and whatever. I gotta stop you there. You were in stacks, honey. If you guys don't know what stacks are, Louis, I'll never forget. Stacks are like platform shoes, but he was on a whole nother stack level. Like
6'4", 6'5".
Everyone's stacks were like here. If everyone else's stacks were here, Louis's stacks were like this. I'll never forget. I was like, how is this kid and you were teeny tiny.
I was a little a good 120 pounds probably.
And you bounced, honey. I'll never forget your dance moves.
Honey, I still got them. Trust, honey. She still has those moves. They're still in there. So I remember, so I was out there waiting, right? And here comes, sashaying from a distance, walking past the whole line in this long a tiger print trench coat and this like long flowy black hair, and I remember you just walked in, and I just was just like starstruck. I was freaking starstruck. I was like, first of all, who thinks this way? Who where are you even coming up with the ideas? And I remember you just walking and they let you walk right in. And then I remember like asking every, who is this person? Who is this person? It's like, oh, that's Claudia. She works at Mac. And I'm like, I'm going, and I'm gonna go get my makeup done by him. And I think that's when I first introduced myself. I would come into Mac, and that's when we'd see each other, and then we would see each other out and stuff like that. That's my first.
So so you saw me what? So we were at a rave. We were at that Fresno Fair, one of the Fresno rave parties at
Yeah.
Fresno Fair, and I just walked on up into the front.
You walked right into the, I don't know if you were hired as a dancer or if you were a go-go back then or what, or if you just said, I'm just going to walk to the front. But girl, you just sashayed in front of all of us, honey. And I was like, and I was just like, you don't see that stuff in Fresno. Fresno's this big, you guys. Anyone watching? It's a very small town. And this was the late 90s and things were just, it's not like the way it is now, you know? Things are so, everyone's a
It
star.
was, yeah. I would, so I would go party in LA as a teenager. Like we either went to Frisco or LA, and when I would go to Los Angeles, that's when I met Raja, whose name is Sutan. And so I would see Sutan at Mac or at these glam parties that I got to get exposed to. And so I was in the way you're speaking of being maybe a little bit in awe of me, which is I feel so blessed that you would even say that. Thank you so much. I had no idea. I love you. I would look at Raja that way because Raja would walk into a room like that and just kind of take that room energy, like almost like what is it called, like setting the tone of the room that he walked into, almost, you
Yeah,
know. And
yeah,
so when he would
yeah.
walk into a room, it was like, oh, he's arrived, you know. So then I
Yeah,
would
a
come
star.
home to Fresno, and those influences, I would be like, oh, let me see if I can make a little movement here. And I guess, I mean, not I guess, you're right. I do remember, you know, wanting to be something that was bigger than myself. And that was because for so many years I didn't have that self-esteem, right?
Yeah.
I hope I never came off as a bitch though. Like that was
Never
never my intention. I
looked
never
like one,
wanted to be.
never came off as one. That was always the thing that I always, that, and we'll get into that too. And I always think that like you have set such an example of what it's like to be a humble queen, you know, or king or whatever you want to, you know, a humble person, you know, like
I love that.
you always just kept you never knocked anybody down, and if I would see you out and you would always compliment, and you were never the girl to not share the spotlight. Do you get what I mean? Like you always brought everybody up with you. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a I'm here, you're there. Let's keep it that way. And it's the same thing too with Gilbert. I mean, hopefully one day I can get him on here. He's such a busy guy. Gil, if you're listening, I'm saying it. So, but as well too, you guys were just these lights of energy of good things happen if you're positive. You don't have to be a bitch. You know what I mean? You don't have to be that shady queen. And
I definitely feel like there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence, and I was trying to omit confidence without being arrogant. And I wanted to always acknowledge everybody who maybe looked up to me, or, you know, I wanted to always represent us and say, look, I come from the ghetto in the hood, and lipstick actually helped lift me up. And yes, maybe there were some times in my younger years where maybe there was an air about me. But we're living and we're growing and we're maturing. But I always wanted to make sure that I came off loving. And I look back and, you know, did I have tiffs with people? Sure, I had tiffs with people, you know, but for the most part, I don't think I had like 1,000 enemies. I see Frankie. He goes, I did. There's a story. Frankie and I actually met when we were in high school, and we didn't know who he was. We thought he was mad dogging us. So we were all in these color guard. We did the crow, and Frankie was there with his best friend, and
yeah,
we were like in color guard 17 something. And so he was like, and there was like a whole clan of us, and he was giving us dirty looks, and we thought we were gonna try to fight him. Oh, it was so embarrassing. Now we're like the best of friends. Sorry, Frankie. That story we gotta tell some other time. But Gilbert was the
so
biggest bitch.
Gilbert is Gilbert.
Frankie! Frankie!
Gilbert is the freaking how do we, Gilbert's like the Gandhi, and like you're like the Mother Teresa of the community.
Especially you guys, you like I said, you guys felt like you were you were so, to me, so young. Like, do you remember Hector? Well, his name is Selena now, I think. Her name
Yes,
is Selena.
yeah.
And
And
who did you used to, was it
Brad,
you were always with some, you had a partner in crime. Was it Santos?
I was Santos too, yeah.
Who was your partners in crime?
Santos, who else? There was all of them. Alize, um,
Alizé.
Nick, little Nick, freaking Tran,
Jojo? Oh,
Jojo.
Tran. Yes, yes.
Remember all of
What
them?
was so crazy cool though, I know many people are watching. What was so crazy, your drag daughter, Hanny, anything for Selena's. Oh my God, Gilbert is hilarious. It was tease. Oh, the tea. The boys are going in. The boys are going
I
in.
know.
Um, so yes, we would show up to these big parties in Fresno. It was a big deal. The Fairgrounds is the large one of the largest venues in our city,
Yeah.
and it would be completely packed.
Yes.
And when we all finally were in there, I would be on a go-go box or in the center of a dance. We called them back in the day, guys. There would be circle dance battles. Yes, yes, a dance battle. Remember the dance? And you were in the center too, Louis. You were in the center of the circle.
Oh, Heidi, always spinning and
And
twirling.
everybody, there'd be a crowd of people, and everybody would push out. Everyone would push out, and there would become this big center circle. And we may not have experienced the New York life underground of the ballroom, darling, where they're like, they do the voting thing. But those
Yeah.
influences from Party Monster and those influences from probably the underground ballroom scene fed into our little community. And we would have these dance
Yeah.
battles and we would kind of dance against each other. And there was like a love, it was like a love battle, but there, I mean, was there a little attitude? There was. Don't even, there was a little like,
Of course.
honey, let me show you what I
A
got.
little sass. Of course.
And we would
So,
dance against
so
each other. And it was like, I remember one time I did this, I would do this windmill thing with my arms sometimes. And I ended up one of the parties, they had a cage, a big cage on stage. And
I
I was
remember.
dancing. You remember that?
Remember you and your cage dancing.